like how to use. We're going to go over how to use the tools and stuff inside of Edulastic. So you should click here on November 10th. And then there is no bell work. We're going to scroll down and click this link where it says Edulastic. Now mine looks different than yours, but it should come up and say, it might say that it's expired or something like that. You're going to click log in, but then you're going to click sign in with Google. And what should happen, it should take you to my class. And it might pull up and say that you're going to go to, it might say that you have to click on the assignment. And so, or it might come up and say, you just might immediately go to this page here. But you should have access to where you get into these questions. And so what I want to do is make sure that everybody is logged in. And last period, everybody was able to do it except for one person. So if you're not able to see, then raise your hand and let me know because I'll have to fix it. It's close, but there's a negative sign in front of the 12. Are you able to get in? November 12th or 10th. Click on November 10th. Thumbs up. You're good too. All right. Who's not in yet? Just you. Click sign in with Google. And then click allow. Or select your name and then click allow. So most of the tools are pretty easy, self-explanatory. They're similar tools that you should have used on other programs. Good. All right, so it looks like everybody's able to get in. Now, your pages, like I can see, I can obviously do the same assignment as you can, and we'll go over that in here in just a second. My page looks a little bit differently than yours. My page looks like this. So, like, I can tell right away when someone gets the wrong answer or if they get partial credit. So, yellow means that they got part of it right, red means they got all of it wrong, and green means everything's good to go. So on mine, I can see everybody's score when it's live. As soon as you answer a question, it's going to tell me how you're doing. And so, go ahead and open that. Oh, sounds like somebody's trying to get in the door.
No.
Whoever. Well, Jocelyn's probably easier to get to it, but. No one? Oh, it sounded like the door was jiggling the handle. All right, but anyways, so when we look at number one, the slope is always the number in front of the x, so it's -4. The y-intercept is always the number after the x. Be careful because it's -12. That means it's -12, right? If it had been +12, it would have been just +12. But Because it's minus 12, it's negative 12 for the y-intercept. The second question type is it's a drag and drop. You're going to match the equation up with the graph that it goes with. And so really all you need to know is what the y-intercept is on these ones, because we can see that this says positive 2 for the y-intercept. So we're looking for an equation that ends in plus 2. Plus 2. It's the only one. For this one, it's going to end in plus 3. Only one. For the next one, it's going to end in minus 2. This is the only one that ends in minus 2. The next one, we need it to end in 0. It doesn't have one, and when it doesn't have one, we know it's 0. So this one is the one that is 0, which means that minus 1 has got to be the last one. And so then we click next. Now this one here is an interesting problem. It says a private library offers a yearly membership worth $265. But for every book to be issued, it applies an additional $5 charge. The following graph represents the above situation. Use the slope-intercept form to determine the equation of the line. Now listen, the graph's really hard to read because it's spaced out and it doesn't cross in any of the corners. So what you can use is the words up here. So 265 or 5, which one do you think is the slope? It's the 5. It's the one that's going to be a constant charge. It's charging it for every book. So we're going to start y equals 5. And if you look at your choices, you've got 2 that start y equals 5.
The only one is 265.
Only one's got 265 in it, and it's going to be that one. This is, you just write it in the order that it's, so y equals mx plus b, where slope is m, and b is the y-intercept. So we're looking for something that is plus 20. There's 2, but this one has a slope of 1. This one has a y-intercept of 12. There's only one of those. This one has a y-intercept of 20. There's only one of those left. This one has a y-intercept of 4. This one has a y-intercept of 4. I believe the next question is accidentally repeated, so it's the same thing. So this should be here. This one will be here. This one will be here. And this one will go back down here again. Should be the same question. When we look at number 6, it wants us to graph it. And so the first thing you have to do is you have to click this line AB thing. And so remember, the second number tells you where to start at. Minus 2 tells me to click on minus 2. Now, it already put a line across there, but the line's not correct. So we want to take this dot here, and we're going to go back to minus 2. See how the line disappeared? And then the slope says 2/3, so that means go up 2 and over 3 to the right. And then we're going to go on to the next one. This one says write the equation. And so y equals is how we're going to start. The slope of this one, it's a fraction. So you can hit that little fraction bar thing there. But right there is the y-intercept. We can see it crosses again in a corner right there. So it rises 3. See it? 1, 2, 3. And runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this has a slope of 3 over 5. And then you want to click beside it and type x. So you should have y equals 3 over 5x. And then it crosses the y-intercept at positive 2. So we should end this in plus 2. So y equals 3 over 5x plus 2. We're going to click next. This one gives you the m and the b, so all you got to do is type it in. Y equals, the m is 4, x goes beside it, and then the b is negative 3, so we put minus 3. All I did was plug those numbers in for those values. And then the last one says to graph this. Now, what's the y-intercept on this equation? It says y equals 5x. what's the y-intercept? 0. So we're going to click the line AB. We're going to click on 0. It's going to give me a line. I'm going to select B and go back to A. Now, what does the slope of 5 mean to do?
So it's since it's 5x, it's gonna be the first point's gonna be at 0, right?
Yep.
It's gonna be at 0, and then you're up 5 and then over 1.
Up 5 and over 1 to the right. That's exactly right. We're counting up 5, not up to 5. It happens to work out it's the same, but you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. And so when I look at this, I can see a live view of like, okay, like even though I gave the answers to some of these, like some people still didn't change them.
Can you see if I got any wrong?
Yeah, look for your name.
At the very bottom.
So far, you're good. The last question you have to click. It won't let me see if you're right or wrong until you click off the question. So, and so you can see that like all these people got 100% down here and stuff, right? And then the class average score says that the average score right now is a 75%. That's a C average. It's not very good considering I gave all the answers, right? We should have an average of 100%. So, unfortunately, these are not always to where it's easy to say you have unlimited tries. It usually only lets me give one until you're finished. And so if you ever feel like you want to redo one of these, you're going to have to ask because I have to manually go in and open it back up for you. Now that we've covered that, we've got about 28 minutes or so left of class. And we're going to use that time to work on missing assignments. There are 13 of us that have a D or below. So 1, 2, yeah. So let's just make sure that we're working on missing assignments. And if you have questions or need help, I'll gladly help you. Just ask for it.